Hello and good afternoon. Welcome to today's Creative Corner. Today we'll be making some Pom Pom rugs. My name is Josh. Thank you for joining me today. I know it's a little bit different compared to what we normally do because we're doing it in our library stacks, and that's because our studio is being renovated. If you are interested in doing this at home, in your supply kits that you can request through the library, you'll receive this mesh plastic rug template. It is 12 by 18 and it's slightly beveled or ovaled on the side. Rounded, that's the word I was thinking of. These are what we're going to be making today. You'll need some yarn. I decided to purchase some additional yarn, but you'll receive a couple bundles of yarn in your supply kits. You can make this out of cardboard. It's relatively easy. Just make a small rectangle, then cut out the middle. I'm going to show you how to use both the card as well as your hand to make pom-poms. And then you'll need a very sharp pair of scissors and of course a ruler. So with that, let's go ahead and get started with today's workshop. So as I mentioned, it's a rectangular piece of cardboard. You can use something more sturdier if you would like to. Or actually buy the Pom Pom Maker that you can get from any craft store. But the way I went ahead and made doing these pom-poms is I grabbed a string and then you're just going to wrap it around up to 75 times. That's the fluffiness of the pom-poms. But we're going to go ahead and speed up this process. So I applied what we did on the cardboard, and I made some on my hand too as well. But we're going to go ahead and measure out roughly about an additional 12 inches of yarn. Let's see. So like I said, about 12 inches. And then you're going to get your bundle of yarn that you have. Place your 12-inch yarn roughly in the middle. And then you're just going to do a quick tie, nothing too fancy. But when you do this part, you want to make sure that you pull the yarn relatively tight so that way the yarn itself doesn't come undone. The card is going to be slightly easier to use because what you can do is in that little inserts, string the yarn through. If I we're having some human difficulties trying to string that through. Alright, so once that's done, then you could just adjust the length, make sure it's nice and even. Like I said, you gotta tie it really tight. And then you can just slip this off your card. Last thing you need to do is grab your very sharp pair of scissors. And you're to cut the loops. And if there's any strays, you can go in and cut them too. And then the next thing you have to do is just go ahead and fluff it with your hands. If any of the yarn comes out, that's totally fine. But there we have it. So we'll go ahead and start applying this to the rug template. Before we got started with today's workshop, I went ahead and measured out this template is 12 by 18 inches. So I went and divided my template in half so that way I could find the halfway mark. But with these pom-poms, they're going to be a little difficult, but also a little easy to do. You just kind of make sure to wet the ends of your yarn so that way it's easy to string through the mesh grid that we have here. And I am crossing it from one another. Flip it over, and you're just going to do a basic knot tie. Again, pulling as tight as possible, but making sure it's not too tight, so that way you don't break the yarn when you are tying it. And then with the excess amount of yarn, you can go ahead and cut it. But make sure you try not to cut too close to the knot so that way it doesn't start falling apart. And then all you have to do is just refluff your pom-pom. And as you're working with this, it's going to get a little bit more difficult as you do it. So just be aware of that. Let's see. And see, I cut too close. If while you're doing this you want to add a little bit of hot glue to the ends so that way it stays in place, you can totally do that as well. It also might help to get a pair of tweezers to help you with this too as well. But this does take a while to do, so we're not going to be able to finish it on camera today. But I will try to finish it later on. Okay, hopefully that stays now. One done. And again, simple tie. And then we're just going to cut off the excess amount. Again, try not to cut too close to the knots. But there we have it. We have the start of a Pom Pom rug. You can buy different color yarns, do a little research on different templates and variations, color patterns, designs. But like I said, we're not going to finish this on camera today, but I will try to work on this as much as I can and go from there. Thank you for joining me on today's Creative Corner session. We worked on some pom-pom rugs using some yarn, some scissors, and of course your hands. If you would like to do not use your hands, you can always use cardboard. There's Pom Pom Makers available for purchase through like Amazon, Hobby Lobby, any other craft store. But if you're not already, be sure to subscribe to our social media platforms. We have everything from Facebook to YouTube, TikTok, and much more. If you are interested in doing this at home, you'll be able to receive some supply kits too as well, which is available on our website, and I will put the link to our website in the video description. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments. Thank you very much, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.